All right, let's dive right into this explainer and map out what is, frankly, an epic 2 week sightseeing itinerary through one of the world's most breathtaking, yet somehow still incredibly underrated countries. Now, when you think of ultimate travel destinations, Pakistan might not be the very first place that pops into your head. But I promise you, by the end of this guide, it's going to be sitting right at the top of your bucket list. We are building out a comprehensive 2 week expedition packed with jaw-dropping landscapes and major travel milestones that you literally cannot find anywhere else on the planet. So grab your bags. Let's get into it.
To kick things off, let me ask you something that might just completely flip your assumptions about global travel milestones. What country actually boasts civilizations that are older than ancient Egypt and mountain peaks that are widely considered deadlier and way more demanding than Mount Everest? It's kind of a staggering thought, right? Well, the answer is Pakistan. It is a land of just absolute extremes, where ancient history and raw, intense nature collide.
Before we actually hit the road, let's just ground ourselves for a second in a region whose history is, well, it's truly awe-inspiring. We're talking about the Indus Valley civilization hitting its stride way back in 3300 BCE. That makes it over 200 years older than ancient Egypt. You go from the incredible early urban planning of Mohenjo-Daro around 2500 BCE, all the way to the beautifully preserved first-century Buddhist art at the Takti Bahai Monastery. This deep, rich historical foundation is really the bedrock that your entire 2 week trip is built on. So here is our game plan. We've got a logical north-to-south geographic flow planned out for you. Leg 1 is the northern peaks. Leg 2 covers the valleys and giants. Leg 3 dives into the cultural heartland. And finally, Leg 4 takes us from the deserts down to the coast. All right, let's kick off Leg 1, the northern peaks, scaling the roof of the world. We're starting way up high in Gilgit-Baltistan. So this region is where the Himalayas, the Karakoram, and the Hindu Kush mountain ranges just aggressively smash into each other. It's where the ultimate travel milestone for mountaineers happens. If you always thought Everest was the ultimate test, well, true adventurers will tell you the 8,611 meters K2 is a much, much more extreme milestone. Because while Everest is heavily commercialized today, K2 really remains this best-kept secret. It's technically far more demanding, it's surrounded by this incredible air of mystique, and it shelters some of the absolute largest glaciers outside the polar regions. And just to navigate this region, you actually have to conquer a literal wonder of the world. 4,693 meters. Just try to wrap your head around that elevation for a second. That is the dizzying height of the Khunjerab Pass. Traveling through here means driving the Karakoram Highway, which is a 1,300-kilometer engineering marvel blasted right through the rock along the ancient Silk Road. When you hit that elevation, you are standing at the world's highest paved border crossing. I mean, talk about a massive, brag-worthy milestone. Plus, you've got elusive snow leopards and Himalayan ibex roaming right there in the shadows. Now, our first specific travel milestone takes a bit of work. It's a heart-pounding, 3-step sequence just to reach the shadow of Nanga Parbat, which is famously known as the Killer Mountain. Step 1, you gotta survive one of the world's most dangerous dirt jeep tracks. We're talking sheer drops right off the mountainside. Definitely hold on to your breakfast for that one. Step 2, you trek on foot through these incredibly dense, high-altitude pine forests. And finally, Step 3, you emerge at Fairy Meadows. Local folklore actually claims fairies live there, and honestly, when you see that surreal, lush green grass sitting directly underneath those colossal icy cliffs, you're gonna believe it for sure. Moving right along into Leg 2, Valleys and Giants, we are getting into the surreal landscapes of Skardu and Azad Kashmir. Now here's where things get wild. There is a totally jarring contrast between what you probably think of as a desert and the reality of what's waiting for you in Skardu. Normally, traditional deserts mean low altitude, scorching heat, barren plains, right? Well, Skardu's Katpana and Safaranga cold deserts are sitting at an altitude of over 2,200 meters. You actually get freezing winters up here. Imagine standing on these beautiful, sweeping golden sand dunes, but right behind them is this dramatic, towering backdrop of snow-capped mountains. It's a super rare ecosystem and a visual milestone you'd be really hard-pressed to find anywhere else. This whole leg of the itinerary is really a perfect balance of high-altitude wilderness and serene luxury. First up, you hit Deosai National Park. It's a 4,000-meter-high plateau they call the Land of Giants, where you can literally spot endangered Himalayan brown bears just roaming the plains. Then you contrast that wildness by heading to the Shangri-La Resort for some tranquil luxury right on the mirror-like waters of Lower Kachura Lake. After that, we transition over to the softer charm of Azad Kashmir in the Neelam Valley, which is just packed with these vibrant turquoise rivers and whispering ancient ruins.
Time for leg 3, cultural heartland. We are heading down into the soul of Punjab. As we descend into the fertile plains, we're trading the adrenaline of natural wonders for some deep historical roots. And to keep the pacing dynamic, we've got a rapid-fire list of cultural touchpoints. You're diving into over 2,000 years of history in Lahore, where you'll stand in absolute awe of the Mughal splendor at the massive Bud Shrine Mosque. Next, you wander the vibrant blue-tiled streets of Multan, known as the City of Saints. Then, it's off to the 1,500-year-old Katas Raj Hindu temples, which are built around a mystical pond said to have formed from Lord Shiva's tears. Oh, and connecting all of this out on the highways, you'll see Pakistan's famous truck art. It's literally like these colorful, moving canvases carrying poetry and dreams across the entire country. Now, take a second to absorb this number. 100,000. That's not a typo. That staggering figure is the actual worshiper capacity of Islamabad's Faisal Mosque. It's nestled beautifully right at the foot of the Margala Hills. And what's so cool is it abandons those traditional round domes completely. Instead, it's uniquely shaped like a massive Bedouin tent. With its stark white marble and sleek, towering minarets, it is a breathtaking modern travel milestone. As we leave the heartland and cross into the rugged south, you're going to hit the Fort Monroe Steel Bridge. This thing is a jaw-dropping 1.5-kilometer engineering marvel. It spans 8 interconnected bridges just to navigate the dramatic cliffs and deep valleys of the Sulayman mountain range. It basically turns what used to be a terrifyingly treacherous mountain pass into this sleek, stunningly scenic travel milestone. And that brings us to our final stretch, leg 4, deserts to coast, the grand finale in Sindh and Balochistan. Get ready to feel very, very small, 26,000 square kilometers. We are entering the massive expanse of the Cholistan Desert, known locally as Rohi. It's just this endless ocean of golden sand that still holds the faint traces of ancient Indus Valley trade routes. And rising straight up out of these seemingly empty dunes is the magnificent 9th century Darawar Fort. It's got 40 massive towering bastions just baking in the desert sun. It is a true hidden gem of global history sitting right out in the open. Then, just before we hit the actual coast, your itinerary takes you to something really mysterious, Ranikot Fort. They call it the Great Wall of Sindh, and its walls wind exactly like a dragon's spine, enclosing 32 kilometers of rugged hills. But what's absolutely fascinating is that its sheer scale and exact origins still baffle historians today. Was it a military stronghold? A royal retreat? Nobody knows for sure. It's a heavily debated mystery, layered with all these local legends about hidden tunnels. Walking those ancient walls is a milestone you won't forget. For the big finish, our spectacular road trip traces Balochistan's raw, unfiltered coastline. We kick this part off in Gwadar, which is this really cool blend of a historic fishing town and a booming modern deepwater port. From there, you drive the 650-kilometer Makran Coastal Highway, another engineering marvel that winds right alongside these untouched beaches and arid cliffs. And the ultimate finale? Hingol National Park. Out here, you'll find the windswept Princess of Hope rock formation and these massive, otherworldly mud volcanoes just bubbling up from the earth. So over these last 2 weeks, we've scaled killer mountains, crossed freezing cold deserts, walked through ancient civilizations, and ended up at bubbling mud volcanoes right by the sea. I want to leave you with a really beautiful thought from the legendary poet Allama Iqbal. He wrote, "Beyond the stars are worlds yet to be explored. This vast expanse is brimming with life's embrace, where countless journeys begin in their endless chase." After mapping out an itinerary with landscapes and milestones like these, I have to ask you, what unexplored world are you going to chase next? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep chasing those ultimate milestones.